This movie lived up to my expectations, and I went in expecting this movie to be good. After watching that trailer was so good. After watching that trailer, I thought this movie would be good. I thought this movie would be something that Hollywood hasn't been giving us. It would feel real. It would feel raw. There would be emotion. We got that. We got that and more. I'm not gonna give you any spoilers in the first half, and we'll deal with spoilers later on. But if you guys are looking for a Godzilla movie where the humans aren't annoying and you're just waiting for the monster stuff to happen, don't worry. Don't worry. You'll be fine. You'll be fine in this one. The scenes with Godzilla are awesome. The scenes without Godzilla are still awesome. They managed to tell a story where I shouldn't even say they managed to tell a story, because all of their movies, humans are interesting because there's no, I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know why in the American Godzilla and monster movies, they make the humans so dull and annoying. Anyways, in this movie, the human story is really interesting. And the story related to Godzilla is also really interesting. And you don't feel like, hey, get me out of this human interaction and let's go back to the monsters. You don't feel that. It's one cohesive story. It's one story being told here, and everything just fits and it just works as it should, as it normally should, like any movie should. This movie really felt like older Hollywood movies, like back in the day when storytelling mattered. It didn't feel so processed, and it felt organic. It felt natural. It felt like they wrote a movie, directed a movie, and are telling a movie. It didn't feel like this giant studio was behind it, and there were like people saying, "Hey, we gotta have this and there, do this. We gotta do this, blah 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 blah." You know what I mean? It didn't feel like it was created by a machine. You know, it felt like a proper story. It felt like movies in Hollywood from back in the day. You know, when there was some integrity. You know what I mean? There was some passion and creativity. So that was real nice. But going back to that real raw aspect, you feel that as soon as the movie starts. And that has a lot to do with the color grading, a lot to do with the acting. It's not overly edited, overly stylized like Hollywood movies are. And that probably has to do with the fact that the budget was pretty low. I think the director of the movie denied the claim that it wasn't even $15 million. Okay. And so it didn't have a crazy budget. He said, I wish it was $15 million. If I heard that somewhere. I might be wrong. But it didn't have a huge budget. And that helped with the feeling of the movie. It felt real. The acting was good. The music was good. Obviously, the Godzilla theme. And mind you, this is not connected to any of the Hollywood movies, right? The Hollywood Godzilla movies. This is taking it back to Toho, right? We're back to OG Godzilla, right? Godzilla's back in the hands of the OGs, right? So it feels different. If you guys are used to the more of the American Godzilla movies, this feels different. I've only seen the first Godzilla, like the Japanese Godzilla, and the one with Ghidorah. Those are the only two Japanese Godzillas I've seen. The one where Ghidorah is introduced, and then this one. This one was really good, man. If you enjoyed the trailer, if you watched that trailer and you liked what you saw, you're gonna like the movie. The trailer was a very good representation of what the movie is. So definitely go check it out. I 100% recommend this movie. It was awesome. Watch it in theaters if you can. Now, let's talk about some spoilers. They didn't waste any time whatsoever. It started off with the humans, and then boom, 5 minutes later, you're seeing Godzilla. This story is essentially following this kamikaze pilot, Koichi, who abandoned his duty, and he's feeling guilt throughout this movie. You know, he was supposed to give his life, and he didn't. He chickened out because he wanted to come home to see his family, and then he comes home, and they're all dead. So now he's living with this guilt. Like, hey, if I did my duty, could I have saved my family? Could I have saved all these people? If I did my part, would my family be alive? You know what I mean? So he's facing a lot of guilt, and on top of that, he flees to this island, Odo Island, I believe it was called, and Godzilla ends up coming. He chokes. He was supposed to fire at him with his plane. he doesn't, and everybody dies except for him and another guy. So that was like 5 minutes in, boom, you see Godzilla, and that really sets the tone of, hey, this is not like the American Godzilla movies where it's literally this boring human story for the first 3/4 of it, and then you get like a 20-minute fight with Godzilla, and then that's it at the at the end of the movie. You know what I mean? This had Godzilla all the way throughout the movie. And because they did that, it's not just Godzilla trampling through Tokyo at the end of the movie. You get to see more interactions with the humans and Godzilla. And what I mean by that is you get to see Godzilla in his natural habitat in the water. There is so let me continue on with the story a little bit. So Koichi, he comes home, right, and he stumbles across this girl, and she's having a child with her, right? The child is not the girl. I mean, I don't have to recap the story for you. You guys have watched the movie if you're watching the spoiler section. And so Koichi gets this job. He's out there cleaning these mines. It's a dangerous job, so it pays well. And you get this little montage of Noriko and Akiko and Koichi. They're having a family. They got a house. You know, they're getting food. They got money. They're building themselves. They're building themselves back up again, which was really heartwarming to see. The sad thing is Koichi feels like he's undeserving of it all, and he's not sharing his emotions with Noriko. So it comes to a point where Noriko feels like, I need to move on. You need to move on. So I'm going to go get a job, and you don't have to take care of me anymore. The thing is, Godzilla's out there, right? So one day they stumble upon this collapsed ship in the water. And the water scenes look awesome. I love the way the ocean looks. I love the way the ships look. It looks real. They're using wooden boats because they didn't want to activate any of the magnetic systems of the mines. And those shots just looked really good, man. You felt the weight of the water, and the deep blue of the water I really liked. Also, the way they explained the job, they explained the nature of the ship and the job they're doing, the process of it. It really reminded me of, like, you know, when you're watching an anime and then they do a breakdown of the way things work. It was cool. I really liked that. And so essentially Godzilla shows up. All these fish start floating up on the water. And you get this scene of Godzilla chasing the ship. And you're seeing the back fins. I don't know if you can call them dorsal fins or what. He's chasing the ship. And it looks really good, man. The water splashing. Like when do you get an underwater or a water chase scene of Godzilla and humans? You know, they're trying to blow him up with the mines and stuff. Anyways, I'm not recapping the movie. I shouldn't be recapping the movie. And I just really like that. I like the water stuff, and then on land, I like that stuff as well. This Godzilla was very nimble. Right off the bat, you see that he's very nimble. He's able to move a lot faster. He's able to move his hands a lot faster. He's utilizing his tail a lot. And he's really powerful. He's a lot smaller than the more recent American Godzilla. But he does pack a punch. He looks cool. His atomic breath, dude. His scales go up. They go bam, 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 all the way up his body. And then they slam down and he shoots the breath. Dude, the first time you see his breath, right? He's trampling all across Tokyo, and I don't even know if it was Tokyo. It was somewhere. And he does his atomic breath, and he just blasts it off in some random area, okay? I don't know why. Maybe I was thinking, like, okay, is he just wanting to showcase his roar or what? He just blasted off in some random area. But then the shock wave of the blast destroys the city completely. He doesn't, he's like, hey, I want to destroy the place by me. I'm just going to blast my breath off in some random area. And the shockwave alone is just going to destroy you guys. So you have the shockwave coming at people. And so you have Koichi and Noriko. They're running, and then Noriko pushes Koichi into an alleyway. And then she just gets blasted off by that shockwave. And that dude, my jaw dropped in that scene, because in that scene she dies. And the reason why it's so impactful, because Koichi and Noriko didn't develop that, and Akiko, the girl that they're caring after, he has a family, you know what I mean? He has a girl and he has a daughter. They're adopted, surrogate, whatever, you know what I mean? But he's gotten the second chance. But the thing is, he feels guilty about it. He He has a collection of photographs of all the people that died on that island, and it was his fault because he choked. He could have tried at least to do something, and because he didn't, it cost everybody's lives. And so he feels like he's not deserving of Noriko and Akiko. So he's not accepting. He could have married the girl, you know what I mean? And they're living together. And in Japanese culture, that's a huge thing. I mean, I know here in America, people of opposite gender live with each other, and it's like whatever. But that's a big deal. And he didn't want to vocalize his feelings because he felt like he was undeserving of those emotions, of having a family. He caused his family to die. He's feeling that guilt. He's feeling the guilt for everybody on Odo Island. And so he doesn't deserve to be happy. So he's not letting himself be happy. And she died without... It sucks. The situation sucked. But that scene was awesome, man. Like, you can clearly, already from this review, you can tell the human emotions in this compared to the Hollywood Godzilla movies. Like, I don't just get away. I don't care about when I'm watching the more modern American Godzilla movies. I'm like, let's skip all this trash and let's get to the monsters fighting. In this movie, I don't want to skip the humans. Okay, I don't want to skip the humans. And that also at the same time, I'm getting my Godzilla. There's more Godzilla in this movie than any of the American movie Godzillas put together. What more can I say? I'm trying to think, man. The last ditch effort, the way this movie ends, Koichi, he's like, I lost my chance at happiness. Maybe I finally come to accept it. And now I can't have it anymore. So... And also, even if he's not even thinking that, she didn't deserve to die. So he's upset. He wants to take down Godzilla. I know in the original, Godzilla represents nuclear war, right? You know, the whole aftermath of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Godzilla is essentially like a walking atomic weapon. He has the atomic breath. But in this movie also, you see he's emitting radiation, which is why all the fish are dying as wherever he goes, you know? And he's emitting radiation and it's affecting people. And anyways, the end of this movie, it's like a last ditch human effort to get rid of Godzilla. The plan was to use the ocean, the power of the sea, the pressure of the waters to destroy him, which is cool because you're using a force of nature against a force of nature. So the plan was to submerge Godzilla quickly and rapidly under the water. So the pressures of the water just crush him. And if that doesn't work, we're going to shoot him up so he doesn't have time to decompress. And Koichi gets his hands on a fighter jet. He has to track down one of the mechanics. I keep doing this recap of the movie. But they essentially do the plan, right? And Godzilla's about to do his atomic breath. And Koichi flies right in. That was the only thing I didn't like about the movie. Well, it's not like I didn't like it. I feel like it would have been better if Godzilla did his atomic breath. He opens his mouth to do it. And then you just see, boom. You just see the plane zip by and then boom, right into his mouth. Because what happened in the movie is Godzilla is about to do his atomic breath. Then they cut over to Koichi. He's flying. He's in a ship. He looks over at Noriko's picture. And then you have an outside shot of the ship flying, and then he goes in. So what? Did Godzilla pause the atomic breath for us to get that little scene, and then he flies in? It would have been. I feel like it would have been a whole lot more impactful if Godzilla does his atomic breath. You get a silence at everybody, and like, dang it, we're toast. We're literally about to die, and then you just see, boom, Koichi just right in Godzilla's mouth, and then you see the explosion. Because you know who's in the plane. And we've already seen him, looking at the photograph in the plane. So you know what's on his mind. You know why he's doing what he's doing. We didn't need to get that little shot. Yeah, that's a little tidbit of emotion there, but it wasn't necessary. I feel like it would have been more impactful if we didn't even have that and you just saw the plane go in. But that's the only thing I think I would change about this movie. That and I guess the CG. Godzilla's CG could have been better, but The writing was already so good. I'm nitpicking, at this point. I think they had a small budget, you know what I mean? But I'm talking about things they could have improved. The movie was awesome. But here's the cool part. We get a telegram sent to the woman neighbor who is taking care of Akiko. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, okay, Noriko is alive. And it turns out that's actually what happened. He runs over to the hospital by the end of the movie. He's a hero. He killed Godzilla. And he runs over, or so we thought. He didn't really kill Godzilla. The Godzilla is regenerating under the water. But he runs over to the hospital. He's crying like a baby, hugging Noriko and all that stuff. And you see a mark on Noriko's neck. Was it a tattoo? What was it? I thought it could be a tattoo, but the fact that they focused on it, maybe it's not a tattoo. Like, what is it? Because she was caught in the blast of Godzilla's atomic breath, is it something related to Godzilla, which is why they focused on it? I looked up some stuff briefly, and I think it was in Shin Godzilla. There were humanoid Godzillas. So is she like mutating? Was that like a scale? Is she going to become like this humanoid Godzilla? If so, that sucks for Koichi. I mean, it sucks for her too, but it sucks for Koichi and sucks for Akiko. Akiko thought, she lost her dad and her mom. Now she finally has a family back. Koichi lost his girl and thought he was going to lose Akiko because, he was going to kill himself, but he ejected in the end. They just got their what I'm saying is they just got their happy family. Let him be happy, man. Let him be happy. But man, this movie was good. Movie was real good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It lived up to my expectations. And movies nowadays don't do that. Well, Hollywood movies nowadays don't do that. Let's talk a bit about the title for a second, because it's kind of insane. The reason behind the title is after World War II, Japan was at its lowest. They were at 0. But now with Godzilla, they're even below that. Is -1. So it's like they're at an all-time low with this. So hence Godzilla minus. They're not at 0. They're not at, they're lower than 0. They're at -1. Godzilla -1. So that's insane, dude. All right, let me know, what did you guys think about this movie? If you've seen it, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you haven't seen it and you want to see it, come back and let me know your thoughts down below, because I'm curious to see what you guys thought about this movie. And I'm also curious if you've seen any other Godzilla movies, and also how would you compare this with the more American Godzilla movie, the American Godzilla movies. I personally was looking forward to this one more so than Godzilla X Kong, but I'm still looking forward to Godzilla X Kong. But this one was awesome, man. Again, I liked the real gritty nature. If these guys want to do an Attack on Titan movie, I think it would be good. The gritty, real nature. It wasn't overly edited or overly stylized. It felt real, which I really liked. And I don't know, man. I like the movie. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What you guys thought about the movie? And I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.